New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Good evening, and welcome to the Miracle of Prosperity here on the New Thought Media Network. I'm your host, the Reverend Dr. Jim Webb. I serve as the Senior Minister of the Tacoma Metaphysical Chapel in Silver Spring, Maryland, and I'm also the author of a number of prosperity books, including The Soul of Prosperity, as well as a number of ebooks such as Create a Self-Manifesting Vision Board, Prosperity from A to Z, Forgive Your Way to Prosperity, and 30 P's to Prosperity, all of which are now available on audiobook as well. So each Sunday night, we come together and we discuss prosperity and all the different aspects of prosperity. Our perspective is that prosperity is simply any and every form of love that God's love can take, whether it be financial prosperity, where we are fully in the flow of unlimited joyful financial abundance with ever-increasing surplus, or whether it be physical prosperity, where our physical bodies are balanced and the life force flows through us in an energizing, productive, balanced way. Or it could be professional prosperity, where we have a wonderful job with wonderful pay, where we provide a wonderful service in a wonderful way, as per Florence Scovel Shinn. It could be logistical prosperity, where our lives simply work with a minimum of struggle or hassle, and life is easy and good. And there are so many other aspects of prosperity. So we discuss them all. And we either discuss ways to enhance our ability to allow prosperity, or we discuss ways to eliminate the blockages that block the prosperity that is in infinite supply and infinitely available to us as beloved children of God. So we take a different aspect each week and we work with it. So I'm excited about this week's show. The title is Detox Your Way to Prosperity. Detox your way to prosperity. Although I think we know what toxins are, I think we sometimes underestimate the pernicious effect that toxins can have on our prosperity. And I'm talking about all types of toxins, not only toxins in our foods, but toxins in our minds, toxins in our spirits, and toxins in our environment. Any toxin causes the flow of good to be disrupted, distorted, or stopped. You are a channel, a vessel, and an instrument for God's love. And as God continually pours its love into you and through you, that love may take forms that serve you and others, when your mind, your body, or your spirit gets clogged with toxins, it distorts what God would create through you as love. It diminishes what God would create through you as love. And in the worst case, it blocks the loving prosperity that you desire and deserve. So our task is to clear the passageway for God's love to take every form of prosperity that we desire. And to clear the passageway, we must clear it of the toxins that block us. So I'm excited to do this show. And I've brought someone on to discuss this with us, the Reverend Tonya Parker, author of so many books I can't even begin to name them. My favorite is Diary of a Witch's Daughter. And my other favorites are the ones where you alphabetize your way out of stress, distress, the ABCs from stress to distress, to de-stress. She's a speaker, she's an author, she's a minister, she's a healer, she's a cook, and in essence, she's a detoxifier. So welcome, Reverend Tonya Parker.
Thank you so much, Reverend Jim, for that warm and generous introduction. It's so good to be here again. All right.
Welcome, Reverend Tonya Parker.
There he is.
There he is.
Yes.
He froze for a second.
You froze up for a
Yes.
moment. Okay.
Okay.
Our programming continues.
Thank you, our producer, Reverend Michael Mangus, our savior at this point, Reverend Michael Mangus. Welcome, Reverend Tonya Parker.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here again.
Yes, it's so wonderful to see you. I was so thrilled by a recent live video that you did where you asked the question, what are you ready to leave behind this fall? It was a wonderful play on words, first of all, with the falling leaves, but it was also a reminder for us to leave behind that which is toxic so that we can allow the good God has for us. And you talked about it in so many ways. Can you tell us a little bit more about that idea that you shared in the video?
Sure. Thank you so much. And, sometimes when Spirit is speaking through us, it's through us, and we may not remember all that we were talking about.
Yes.
But I know for me, what comes up during this time of year is to naturally get in sync with nature, because nature guides us in so many different ways. And so when we see the changing of the seasons, we see the leaves start to change color and then fall from the trees, that's a very visual reminder for us that it's time for us to prepare for change and
Mhm.
for us to look at, okay, what needs to leave us? What needs to fall away during the season of fall? And
Mhm.
so we automatically start to think about detoxing like we like to do with different seasons.
Mhm.
And I always hear people talk about detoxes, but so much of the time I hear people talk about colon cleansing,
Mhm.
detoxing the gut, which is
Uh-huh.
amazing and
Mhm.
powerful and useful. But there's
Mhm.
so many different things that are calling forth to be detoxed,
Mhm.
removed, for us to allow it to leave us. And
Mhm.
so that was what I was speaking to, looking beyond some of those aspects of physical detox.
Yes. Tell us about some of the other ways that you suggest that we can all detox.
Absolutely. If we're looking beyond the physical and we're looking at more of the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual realm, we want to
Mhm.
make sure energetically we're releasing energies that aren't serving us.
Mhm.
It could be ways of being, it could be thought forms and patterns that we grew up with and that don't serve us,
Mhm.
have been holding us back in some ways. It could be people in our
Mhm.
lives that, we've been in with and we've been friends, or it could even be family members. But we realize that when we're in their presence or we're speaking with them, we might start to feel something within our physical body, our emotional body. Um, and it's no judgment towards them, but it just might be that our paths are veering away. Our vibrations might be going in such a way that it's not a match anymore. So it's time to just allow them to leave,
Mhm.
without judgment, without trying to force any outcomes. It
Mhm.
could be old habits and ways of being that
Mhm.
we're allowing to leave. So that could impact, our eating patterns or the way we indulge in self-care. It could be, the way we work or not getting the rest we need or not getting the rest we need.
Mhm.
It could show up in a number of different ways, but it's just important to look beyond the physical. Look
Mhm.
at the physical and then beyond. That's
Oh,
what I'll be clear about saying. Yeah.
the
Because it's all
metaphysical.
interconnected.
Yes. Yes. The spiritual affects the physical affects the spiritual. They're one. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how do we know when detox is necessary? What are some of the signs or signals?
Well, there are a number of signs and signals that can show up. One, it could show up in our physical body as feeling
Mhm.
tired and sluggish. And that
Mm.
could speak to a need for a physical detox, or it could be an emotional or a mental detox, because we have so much going on in our world right now that we can get so fatigued just dealing with the fallout from watching the news. I
Mm.
don't watch the news. That's one of my preventive things,
Mhm.
um, that I need to do to take care of my mind, body, and spirit.
Mhm.
So we can feel it with our energy levels. We can
Mhm.
feel it. If we're in tune with our body, we
Mhm.
start to get signals from our body what's for us and what's not. We
Mm.
might start feeling something in the pit of our stomach, maybe that anxiety symptom, something's off.
Mhm.
um, we might see that, we're not responding in the same ways that we're used to responding to people, and we're short or we're brusque with them. And it's like,
Mhm.
wait a minute, this isn't me. I'm not used to responding in this way. What's going on? And so
Yes.
it just gives us a message to look within and see what's happening here. And it could be that we're just taking in too much external stimuli
Mm.
that we need to release.
Okay. Wonderful. Something just popped into my head that I'd like to discuss with you,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a detoxification from comparison.
Mm.
Because one of the things I noticed that a key source of discontent is when we compare ourselves or our situation to what our ego thinks it should be.
Yes.
And we have this rigidity about this. For example, in the fall, our bodies call us to sleep more. Yet our inner perfectionist says, no, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this. Our bodies call us to eat more rooty vegetables in the
Mm-hmm.
fall.
Mm-hmm.
But our minds and our egos say, no, but I want to stay thin. And so help us with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I am a big proponent of really tuning into the body
Okay.
and really listening. In one of the books you referenced earlier, ABC Your Way from Distress to De-Stress.
Yeah.
In that particular book, one of the concepts I talk about is mindfulness body scanning.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times we need to learn to practice to tune in to our body to see what it's really asking for. Because we'll give it all sorts of things that really aren't what it's asking for. But
Mm-hmm.
it's out of habit, it's out of socialization, it's just
Mm-hmm.
out of compulsion. But
Mm-hmm.
when we really tune into what we're calling forth, then we can meet that request more consciously with more intention.
Mm-hmm.
So we really need to tune in and see, okay, what is it that I really need? Not
Mm-hmm.
what the commercial says, not what my friends say.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that my body is saying? And I like to
Mm-hmm.
do things, I used to do muscle testing, but often, I'll pull out a pendulum to check in on, is this for me? Is this not for
Mm-hmm.
me? Sometimes I'll just tune into spirit and ask, okay, is this for me or is this not for me? And
Mm-hmm.
then there are times when it's like, I know it's not for me and I'll do it anyhow. Like
Mm-hmm.
that slice of cheese Danish I had earlier. I was clear. I was super clear.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it. Um, we just need, we can make these, we can take these steps and be clear about it and
Mm-hmm.
know that it may not necessarily be for us. And it's okay. It's okay.
Yes,
We
I
have to
call it
always be compassionate with ourselves.
exactly. I call it the Sunday night exception.
Ooh, tell me
I
about that.
Well, as soon as this show is over, I somersault into the kitchen and eat everything inside. It's the Sunday night exception.
Okay.
During the week, I am strict about my diet, exercise regimen, and my sleep regimen. Sunday night, I eat, I watch a movie, and sometimes I'll watch one of those things like Yellowstone that has like 22 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the Sunday night exception.
Mm-hmm. And I bet your spirit feels fed though, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And we
Absolutely.
have to balance that out.
Yes.
When we get so strict into a way of doing things where it's not allowing us to have joy in our
Yes.
lives, then we're defeating the purpose, right? So it's all a
Exactly.
balancing act.
Exactly. For example, tonight at 10 o'clock, The Way We Were with Robert Redford and Barbara Streisand comes on because it's a Robert Redford marathon.
Oh,
And it's like,
wow.
I've been wanting to watch that movie again since forever. And guess what? The Sunday night exception.
I love that.
Yes. So balance is necessary, is what I hear you saying. And we know when we have imbalance. Now, you mentioned muscle testing. Can you tell our audience a little bit more about that as one of the ways to tune into what your body is saying?
Sure. I know you remember Reverend Adar Dr.
Yes.
Adara
Yes. Of
Moulton.
course.
Yes, I
Yes.
took muscle testing under her many, many moons ago,
Yes.
and learned it in massage school too. But I just don't use it as much.
Mhm.
But you know, our bodies know, our muscles
Mhm.
know, and there are different things we can do to tune in, different ways in which we can get a response as to whether something is a yes or a no for
Yes.
us.
Is it about I vaguely remember it as, I can't do it here, but because you can't see my arms, but
Mhm.
testing how rigid your arms or how loose your arms are against something.
That is one way of doing it. Another way is standing. And if you sway forward, that's a yes. If you stand still, it's a no. Ways of, working with your finger. There are a number of ways that people do it.
Mhm.
And I'm a bit out of practice with it now. That's why for me, I just pull out the pendulum because I've
Yes.
worked very closely with that over the
Yes.
last several years. And it's
Yes.
easy to
To
get
me,
that.
that's the easiest one. Yes, show me no. What should I do? Yes or no.
Mhm.
2 minutes later, you're done. Your body has told you exactly what it
Right,
needs.
because we get such conflicting information, right? As what's
Right.
for us and what's not for us. And
Right.
we know that we're unique individuals. And for some people, they might do well eating meat, but there
Mhm.
are others who don't.
Right.
And it's whether it's something we're eating, it might be a product we're using. It might be a decision whether you take a particular vaccine or, you just have to make it an individual decision and
Yes.
see what your body, your mind, your spirit is calling forth for your highest good.
And your circumstances. Amen.
Yes. Amen.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, our audience may have some questions for us on
Mhm.
ways that they can detox, on things that they have discovered are not for them. So
Mhm.
we're going to give them an opportunity to develop and ask their questions, or even just tell us hello and let us know they're here. So we're going to go to break. And when we come back, we're going to discuss further detoxing your way to prosperity here on the New Thought Media Network. Put your questions in the comments.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
What if the person you think you are is just a fraction of who you truly are? What if years of conditioning and surviving in a challenging world have left you clinging to strategies and beliefs that mask your truest nature? I'm Catherine Duca, psychotherapist and self-esteem coach, and you're listening to Who Do You Think You Are? A show that looks beneath our psychological masks and uncovers our profoundly messy, beautiful, brilliant, tender-hearted essence. Join me as we go in search of the hidden power of our true selves. I'm so glad you're here.
And we're back here on the Miracle of Prosperity on the New Thought Media Network with Reverend Tonya Parker. And we're discussing Detox, Your Way to Prosperity. Now, Reverend Tonya Parker, one of the things we've been talking around is food. Food can be medicine, or food can be a toxin. For anything in imbalance can be toxic. Mm-hmm. In imbalance, food as a substitute for love may mask or over address a feeling within us or a desire to feel divine love. Mm-hmm. And in balance, instead of in imbalance, food can be a source of healing, regulation, and health. Can you tell us more about how we can use food as a medicine for detoxification?
Absolutely. That's a great point, Reverend Jim. You know, we were given this wonderful gift called food from the earth, right?
Yes.
And it is a natural healer for the most part. And what I love about Earth Mother's gifts are that we can heal a whole manner of things if we are eating in season and balance, natural, whole foods. Unfortunately, we have had some barriers to that in more recent years, such as the depletion of nutrients in the soil. So the food isn't as strong as a healer in some areas, depending on how it's grown, right? And also we have just this growing epidemic, I'll say, of non-nutritive food, processed, overly processed food that has come in as a substitute for nutrition for so many of us, to the point where some people don't even know what nutritious food tastes like. We have places that live in food deserts where it's hard to get fresh garden type produce, or the produce is grown out of season and it's been shipped miles and miles, thousands of miles to get to us. And, then there's the whole, GMO and, the pesticides and everything else that can stand as barriers. But when we do have a source of whole, good food, it can be so helpful. It can, if we're talking about detox, then, our cruciferous vegetables, like the broccoli and the cauliflower, kale, and cabbage, they're good for detoxing the liver. And then, leafy greens and coconut water, they're really good for the kidneys. So those are just some examples. If we talk about the chakras, the color of the food can help support our chakra functioning. So for our root chakra, we would have, both red foods as well as root vegetables that would help support us. I know you like root vegetables, Reverend Jim. We were just talking about them before we got started.
Yes, exactly. And my beets.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Beets and rutabagas and turnips, etc., sweet potatoes, all of that. So many foods are good. And even, if you think about it, the herbs and spices are also healers. And a
Okay.
lot of people don't realize that. And they use just a small smidgen of
Mm,
spices in their foods, or they
yeah.
over salt, which can
Hmm.
be a strain on our kidneys and other systems.
Mm,
And it's like, oh no, we need to use our herbs and spices liberally because they
yes.
have a number of wonderful functions.
Yes. Exactly. And one of the things you alluded to that I would like to emphasize for our guests is that we can be starving and overeating at the same time, meaning we can be eating. And what we don't realize is the reason that we're overeating is because we are starving.
Yeah.
There are certain processed foods that are basically sugar and water, or
Mhm.
salt and water. So we may eat significantly more because we are hungry, but
Mhm.
because they also have so few nutrients. So, in
Right.
essence, we're overeating to get nutrients that just aren't there. And so,
Right.
I've heard that one rule of thumb is that the most nutritious foods, the most nutrient dense foods, are the whole foods that are on the perimeter of any shopping, of any food store. And the processed foods that are in the middle are to be avoided as much as possible. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that is a very good point. And you have to work a little harder to get to the more whole foods. And we have to spend the majority of our time there. We really need to start prioritizing that if we want to take our health back in this country, and if we want to start feeding our body in ways in which it can support us. Because the processed foods are empty, dead calories that don't give us the life. And I don't want to come across as privileged, because I know a lot of people feel that it's too expensive to get the whole foods. But if you think about the cost in healthcare that we put in due to the ailments that we experience, the
Yes.
cost in medications to address these lifestyle related disease states, because we haven't been feeding our body with these whole nutrient rich foods. We have to really look at that. And I really feel that we're in a time now where we're being called back to the earth, where we're called to grow our own food. Even if we have a container garden, if we can start with that, start with some fresh herbs that we're growing out of our kitchen or off of our deck or front porch. And I love the urban gardens that they have now, and the
Yes.
communal gardens where people are getting
Yes.
together. That's how I grew up, Reverend Jim.
Okay.
My family land in Warsaw,
Hmm.
Virginia, my uncle had a
Hmm.
huge garden, and
Mine
we
too.
all worked the garden.
Exactly. My uncle, we'd go back there every night and work that garden. He'd get off from the mill and we'd
Mhm,
work that garden. And then
mhm,
he'd got to get all these tomatoes and and carrots and
mhm.
vegetables and greens.
Absolutely. And back then, they didn't have all those pesticides in the garden. We'd
Right.
just wipe off the tomato
Mhm. And
and
eat it.
take bites out of it. Yes.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Now, it's very interesting. I found it hard to embrace the concept of starving and poisoning ourselves while overeating simultaneously
Mhm,
until I realized an analogy. I remember in psychology class looking at the lab rats who were given cocaine in their water, and
mhm,
it was good, it was good, it was good. And they would drink the cocaine water till they overdosed and died because it was just
mhm,
that good. And all
mhm.
of a sudden, then it made sense. I'm overeating this food that is simply sugar, water, and salt, like a can of soup that is 30% sugar, 30% water, and 30% salt with some red dye number 2 and some artificial tomato flavoring. I'm overeating this because I'm not getting the nutrition that my body craves. So I'm overeating dead calories, yet still starving. And all of a sudden I realized that's kind of like the lab rat that's drinking the cocaine water till they die. And that's when I stopped grumbling about the price of whole foods. That makes sense?
Absolutely. That makes all the sense in the world. Some of us just didn't grow up knowing how to eat. A lot of the children that I see today just haven't been exposed to some of the foods that we were exposed to when we were growing up, right?
Yes.
And because if you look at a TV commercial or whatnot, you'll see sugar-laden cereals and pastries and all sorts of things on there. And you won't see advertisements for leafy greens anyway.
Right. Yes,
Anything like that,
Exactly.
and people gravitate to what's comfortable, what they know, what's been put in front of them, or
And
for
what's easy.
children,
Right.
you grab a box of cereal, get out the milk, and it's your own meal. You're able to make your own meal. So I love the programs that more and more people have out there. One of my friends, Crystal Foreman out of Baltimore, she does a lot of nutrition education, working with children, teaching them how to cook. She does plant-based cooking and, going to different centers, working with seniors, because it's not too late to change these habits, to learn to tune into what your body is actually craving.
Yes. And some of the changes can be incremental small changes with monumental results. One of the things that you mentioned that I would love to emphasize for our audience as an incremental change with monumental results is, and this is one I tried and it works like the Dickens, substituting, in my oatmeal, instead of sugar and butter and salt, cinnamon and nutmeg and raisins. It's like, this tastes better, and it's much better for me than 4 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of salt, and a half lick of butter.
Exactly. And, I love that you said that, because if you think about cinnamon, I told you about how our herbs and spices have these medicinal qualities.
Yes.
Cinnamon is a powerhouse. I mean, use cinnamon, it will sweeten for you, and it's good for your tummy, and it's good to regulate blood sugar. And, it's good for keeping ants out. I mean, it just...
And let me tell you my experience of it without getting too graphic. It's great for the regulation of the digestive cycle, which then improves my productivity for the rest of the day.
I love it. All right. All right. Enough said, Reverend Jim. But we all want that type of regulation of the system. Yes.
Yes, because that detox, that simple detox is a way to allow more prosperity. For me, it's a way to allow more prosperity. I'm not going through the day all heavy. I'm not feeling this poison in my body. I'm feeling light. I'm feeling productive. I'm feeling inspired. I'm feeling the flow of energy, the flow of chi, because there's nothing in my body blocking it, which is indicative of an energy blockage, right?
Absolutely. And if you think about that, we often get these cravings, and our body may be calling out, I won't say our body in particular, but we might be calling out for something sweet, but it might be we're craving the sweetness of life.
Yes.
It may not be a physical craving for something sweet. Or if we're craving salt, it might mean that we're deficient in salt. And
Yes.
so, okay, well, maybe we use a better quality, maybe a pink
Mhm.
Himalayan salt or foods
Mhm.
that are naturally salty, such
Yes.
as seaweed and other
Yes.
sea vegetables. Or maybe we need to get the magnesium by taking Epsom salt baths,
Mhm.
which is a good detoxifier as well.
Yes. And you said something else. I'd like to catenate or put together two things that you said. One of the things you said before was our bodies are talking to us, telling us what they need. The
Mhm.
other thing that you said is that how can we get this in the most whole and healthy way? So if our body is talking to us, how can we get what our body needs in the most whole and healthy way? I
Mm.
think putting those two ideas together can take us a long way towards detoxing. And you gave an example. You gave the example of my body is craving the sweetness of life. Maybe my soul is craving the sweetness of love. And maybe my soul needs to connect with the sweet love of God. Anita Baker's Oh Sweet
Mm.
Love comes to mind. Maybe
Mhm.
my maybe my spirit needs to connect with the sweet love of God. The song from the Commodores, Oh Sweet Love, comes to mind. And so maybe if I were to just go into a meditation and listen to Anita Baker or the Commodores and connect with the source of all love and experience that sweetness in that way, our bodies
Mhm.
might tell us to do just that.
Absolutely. I love that, Reverend Jim. I knew you were going to integrate a little Motown, get a Motown message in here. That's what you
I
do.
wouldn't be me if I didn't.
Mm.
So, yes, there are ways to detox and to allow the good, the light, and the love of God to
Mm.
shine through without obstruction or distortion, and that can lead to our prosperity. Thank you so much, Reverend
Mm.
Tonya, for such an enlightening discussion. And though sadly, we've only seen the tip of the iceberg of what I really would like to cover, so we'll have to have you back. But
Okay.
yes, but in the meantime, what are you working on these days?
Well, Reverend Jim, so much is going on these days. I have to tell you, it is another season of writing. We have
Okay.
another book coming out, an
Oh,
anthology, a volume 2 follow up to Witch Voices.
yes,
Women in tune with conscious healing, remember
yes,
their truth and reclaim their
yes.
power. We have the sacred 22 this time
Mhm.
versus the sacred 33.
Okay,
So
good
these are
number.
powerhouse women who are doing their own form of detox by
Mm,
sharing their story. You know, when we work with
yes,
throat chakra energy, that's a
yes,
detoxing area as well. It's not just about expression and communication, it's
yes,
purification, right?
yes, because
So
you're the
being
throat chakra shaman.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So being able to share these powerful stories of healing and transformation, it's just
Mhm,
amazing to be a part of it. And I love curating this experience. And so
mhm.
the book is dropping again on winter solstice,
Oh,
December
wow.
21st. And
Yes.
we're going to have another Witch Voices Illuminated Summit
Mm,
on
yes.
winter solstice to help launch the book and
Oh,
provide
sweet.
so much healing and light. Get to hear from
Mhm.
many of the sacred 22. So that is on the horizon. We're
Mm.
excited about that.
Now, I want to ask you about something else as well.
Mhm.
Is retreats and sacred retreats an integral part of any detox program?
Absolutely, absolutely. You get to detox from your everyday life, take a
Mhm,
moment to woo-saw, see
mhm.
how you can tune into yourself and what's coming up. And I tell you, when you create a sacred container, such as a retreat,
Mhm,
I mean, it is a powerful space of transformation, and you can't
mhm.
enter in without knowing that you will come out differently. You will leave some things behind.
Yes, because I understand that you do some retreats as well.
Yes, yes. We are actually in the process of doing 3 levels of retreat leader certification. So we
Mhm.
have retreats to teach people how to do retreats.
Yes.
We
Yes.
also have a writer's retreat, Breaking Through Barriers to Blossom Your Book. That is
Mhm.
coming up at the end of March, beginning of April in Virginia.
Okay.
And then next August, we will have Kundalini Rising, which is a
Mhm.
plant medicine retreat to explore different areas of plant medicine to see how they can support us. And that can also help with detox as well.
Wow, you've got a lot going on, Reverend Tanya. We need to keep in
Absolutely.
touch with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one last thing I'll say is I am working with a group of folks on their wellness, on allowing them to convert their homes and their lifestyles to with a number of ways in which they can detox.
Mhm.
That's one of the things I'm doing with so much joy as well. So lots going on, Reverend Jim, for
Yeah.
me. And I know you have a lot of irons in the fire. What's up with you?
Well, first of all, I just finished a little project.
Uh-huh.
All my books are now on audiobook. People always ask me, well, can I get it on audiobook? Can I get it on audiobook? Can I get it on audiobook? Well, every book, my newest books that were ebooks, they're now audiobooks as well. So check all my
Oh,
books out on
wonderful.
Amazon.com under Reverend Jim Webb. They're all available on audiobook now, so you can listen to them at the gym, listen to them on your walk, listen to them in your car on your way to work. And then I've got 2 classes coming up. The first is Yes, You Can Channel Too. This is a 4-week intensive on Monday nights. And this class is for anyone who is on the spectrum of consciousness to take you further on that spectrum, connect more deeply with spirit, your spiritual guides, feel more comfortable integrating your energy with theirs and theirs with yours. Feel the flow of spirit and receive the group energy that facilitates you allowing spirit to work with you and through you more closely, that you might feel their love and their guidance, and you might share their love and guidance, because everybody is a channel. So, yes, you can channel too. That's on 4 Monday nights, beginning the 10th of November. And then on Thursday nights, I'm doing a class called Create Your Vision Board for 2026. Because if you want to create a better 2026 than 2025 has been, the time to start is now. For what you are doing now takes form in 2026. So we're doing the self-manifesting vision process, which is outlined in my book, Create a Self-Manifesting Vision Board. And we're going to do that so that the vision board is more than just pictures on cardboard. The vision board is a living, breathing prayer that we integrate into our daily spiritual practice for easy manifestation. The vision board also integrates the release of the unconscious barriers to our manifestation so that we can manifest easily and effortlessly. And the vision board also integrates the feeling energy of our desires, because the feeling energy is the creative force that takes the infinite substance of creativity and forms it in ways pleasing to our souls. So that's what we're doing, how to create a self-manifesting vision board for 2026 so you can manifest the 2026 you want. These classes are on Zoom, and so they're available no matter where you are. They're available if you cannot take the classes personally. You can get the recordings, and they're getting close to being sold out. So if they are of interest to you, register now. And that's what we've got going on. So I want to thank you, Reverend Tanya. I want to thank our producer, Reverend Michael Mangus, for being there and helping us with all the technical issues. And I want to thank our audience for being such a wonderful audience this evening. I want everybody to have a wonderfully balanced and detoxified night, week, month, year, and life. From the New Thought Media Network. Thank you all. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.